All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Today, Fanni Willis is in court. We're going to look at the court case. You know what I mean? We're going to see what the evidence is. But let me tell you this, going into this story, their friends is telling on them. You know, their friends, people that know them, is testifying against them. You know, she tried to play like it's a race issue, but it's a lot of black people like coming forward and whistleblowing on her about her behavior. So I know this is a case of hubris. Maybe she should have sat down, stepped aside. She should have never went to that church, played the race card. She should have never attacked the wife or whatever. But right now, I want y'all to see how their own friends at the DA office is telling on them. This for fair use in the 1976 Copyright Act for commentary and educational purposes. Check out this court case.
Thank you, Ms. Yurdi. Thank you for being here. Can you tell the judge when you first met Miss Willis?
In college.
Okay.
So probably 90 or 91.
Okay. And have you been friends since 1990 or 91?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you spoke with Miss Willis?
March of 2022.
Okay. From 1991-ish till 2022, were you what you would consider good friends with Miss Willis?
Yes.
Okay. And did you all share personal information regularly?
Yes.
And did you even come and work with her at the DA's office?
Yes.
And when she needed a place to stay, did you let her stay at your apartment?
Yes.
It was a condo, right?
Condo, yes.
Okay. Do you remember approximately when she moved into your condo?
It was April of 2021.
Okay, great. And you know that Ms. Willis and Ms. Wade met at a conference in October of 2019?
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor, without a foundation for how this witness would know that. If Ms. Merchant can establish she has personal information of that, then certainly that's something the witness can testify to. But if it's she heard
Understood, Ms. Cross. All right, Ms. Merchant, if you can lay the foundation.
Do you have information that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade met in October of 2019?
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Information is not sourced to personal information. If the question can be rephrased, then that may address my concern.
So Judge, I just want to make sure that I understand. So they've objected to me calling Willis and Wade.
It's just a matter of foundation. If you can just rephrase.
Do you have knowledge of when Willis and Wade met?
I'm going to object again. Personal knowledge.
Overruled.
Thank you. Do you have personal knowledge of when Willis and Wade met?
Yes. She told me that they met at a conference. I don't know what conference.
Okay.
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Clearly, this is not first-hand information from this witness. It's hearsay that was...
She said she told.
Fanni Wade and them ejecting like a mug. They look so guilty. They ejecting to every question. When did you meet him? When did you meet him? Was it this time? Was it this time? I mean, like, this is so disingenuous. For her to be a DA, don't she know the court proceedings? Let's continue.
Yes, it's statement against interest, Judge. If Ms. Willis...
Just pause.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms.
Yes.
Cross.
The representation of the witness, the testimony of the witness was that Ms. Willis, District Attorney Willis, had a conversation with her. There is no statement against interest. District Attorney Willis is not a party opponent in this case. The information that the witnesses testified to came from Ms. Willis, and we have a hearsay objection to that.
Why wouldn't she be considered a party opponent in this context?
She's a representative of the state, Your Honor. This isn't private litigation or civil litigation. Obviously, the course of where this is, Ms. Willis is not on trial. Ms. Willis is not a party to the litigation outside her obligation to pursue criminal charges for the state.
Ms. Merchant, I guess it's evolved into a hearsay objection.
Yes, Judge, and we plan on calling Ms. Willis to the stand. She's under subpoena, so hearsay will be cured. If there is a hearsay objection as far as that issue. But we do still think that it's a statement against interest. Ms. Willis has filed a document that states that they met at this municipal court conference. So,
Your Honor, I think maybe I can streamline a little bit. State will stipulate that District Attorney Willis and Mr. Wade.
Experience Boost is amazing. Our FICO score went up 14 points.
Install the Chime app today.
Hey guys, so I love Webull so much because I can put my idle cash to work. So Webull Cash
In October 2019 at the judicial conference that we've been talking about. There's no reason to get it secondhand from this witness. Well, that's true.
All right, you accept the stipulation, Ms. Merchant?
yes. Am I permitted then to ask questions about that since it's now not hearsay?
If it's just to a stipulation, if it's just to that basic fact, I don't think we need a question, but if there's a follow-up that you think is admissible, go for it.
Ms. Yurdi, you have personal knowledge that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade began their romantic relationship soon after this time that they met at the municipal court.
I'm going to object to that question. That certainly is a leading question. No foundation has been laid for how this witness would have personal knowledge of that. And until that's happened, the state objects.
Judge,
I think you can do a yes or no and then follow up with how she knows it.
thank you. Do you know if Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade started dating in October of 2019?
I don't know if it was October of 2019.
Could it possibly be November of 2019?
Could possibly.
Okay. And when we spoke, you said it was shortly after the municipal court conference, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that their relationship, their personal relationship, began shortly after this municipal court conference.
Yes.
And when I say personal, romantic. I just want to make sure we don't get in an argument over what personal and romantic is later. When I ask you personal, do you take that to mean romantic?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand it that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her?
Yes.
And you were essentially her best friend during this time, right?
Not best friend. Good friend.
Good friend. Okay, close friend. And so would you frequently socialize with her?
Yes.
And you saw her at work every day?
Yes.
So you had a chance to see them interact together on a personal level?
Yes.
And so from everything that you saw, heard, witnessed, it's your understanding that they were in a romantic relationship beginning in 2019?
Yes.
And when you left the DA, I'm sorry, let me ask you, you said that Ms. Willis came to live with you in April of 2021. I'm sorry, April 1st, 2020 or 2021?
She didn't live with me. I never lived with her.
Okay, I'm sorry. She took over your lease in April 1st, 2020, correct?
No, 2021.
Okay, I had it both ways, so I'm glad you clarified. So when she took over your lease in April 1st, 2021, it's your understanding she moved out of the house that she was sharing with her father and started staying at the condo?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that that's because she needed to have her own space?
Yes.
Away from her father?
Yes.
Okay. When you left the DA's office, were you fired?
No, I resigned.
You resigned, okay. Just 1 moment, sir.
Y'all know why she asked her about her father? Because she want to know if she talk about her father and her parents, that means she talk about her with everything, so she would have personal knowledge of different things. Because if you talk about your parents and what's going on with her father, and she talked about her boyfriend for sure.
He you tell us why you resigned the DA's office?
The number of things that was happening.
A number of things that were happening. Is that what you said, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. What was happening that caused you to resign?
It was a spiral of things. So, I guess the national law is I was put in a department that I knew had no knowledge about. Something happened, and I didn't like it. They didn't like it, and that was it.
Okay. Did you have any falling outs with Miss Willis?
Well, we never spoke after that.
You never spoke after that. Okay.
The war in Israel is being used by the media to cover this up. I woke up to a free...
And so you're, without going into all the painstaking details, there is no doubt in your mind that from 2019 until 2022, Miss Willis and Mr. Wade were in a romantic relationship.
What's the question?
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her.
No doubt.
And that's based on your personal observations and speaking with them and seeing them together and things like that.
Yes.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you. The other folks may have some questions for you, Ms. Yurdi.
Say no.
You want me to go to the
If it's more than a couple questions, then sure. But if not,
It's only a couple questions.
Okay.
The court reporter hear me okay? Ma'am, let me be very specific. Did you talk with Miss Willis about her romantic relationship with Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Did Miss Willis tell you on more than one occasion that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to you leaving the district attorney's office?
Did she tell me or did I observe?
I'm saying right now with the tell me.
Yes.
Did she tell you that in the year of 2020?
Yes.
In the year of 2021?
Yes.
Are you certain that Miss Willis told you about the romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to November 1st?
You see how the attorney slipped up and said Miss Wade? Y'all think that was an accident?
2021.
Yes.
Now, did you also have observations of Mr. Wade and Miss Willis together prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And are those observations, were those in a social setting?
Yes.
And did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, with affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Mr. Stocks.
Ma'am, did I understand you to say that there was a period of time when you and Miss Willis lived together?
No.
Mr. Durham.
No, nothing from me, Your Honor.
Mr. McDougall.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Rice.
Good morning, Ms. Yurdi. Were you aware in 2021 of any trips, social trips that Miss Willis and Mr. Wade took together?
No.
Are you aware of any social trips that Miss Willis and Mr. Wade took together in 2022?
No.
And are you aware of them in 2020 or 2021 spending the evening together overnight?
No.
No further questions.
Mr. Gillen.
No question.
Mr. McCullough. And Mr. Cromwell.
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Cross.
I do have some questions. Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Yurdi, we haven't met before. Is that correct?
Correct.
You're able to see and hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. I want to start with a couple things. Now, I think you've made it clear that you never lived, we'll call it the South Fulton address, the South Fulton condo that you were leasing. You never lived at that address with the District Attorney Willis, correct?
Correct.
And never at any time?
Never.
All right. You never observed or have any information about District Attorney Wade and District Attorney Willis and Nathan Wade living together, correct?
Correct.
You don't have any information about that?
No, I don't.
Anybody said that that information was sourced to you, then that's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
Did District Attorney Willis pay rent at that establishment, at that condo while she lived there and you were living elsewhere?
Yes.
Who paid the rent?
She did.
Nathan Wade ever pay the rent?
No.
And you never told anyone otherwise? I didn't hear your answer there, Ms. Yurdi. Did you ever tell anyone otherwise?
No.
All right. So let's talk for a second about your time at the District Attorney's Office. You were disciplined several times in the District Attorney's Office during your employment there, correct?
No.
You weren't written up every
This attorney trying to discredit her like she really wasn't her friend, like she really didn't know that they was having an affair. She's trying to discredit her now.
Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free with TurboTax Free Edition.
poor performance, Ms. Yurdi.
Once, not several.
One time you were written up for poor performance where you counseled several times about your performance in the District Attorney's Office that was subpar.
No.
Did the District Attorney tell you that your performance was insufficient and that you were going to be fired?
No.
That never happened?
No. Maybe when we were at the end. What's the question?
The question, Ms. Yurdi, was did the District Attorney ever counsel you on your poor performance in the District Attorney's Office prior and inform you that you were going to be fired?
I don't really know how to answer that.
I'm looking for the truth.
I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, the situation happened. That wasn't my fault. And I either was going to resign or be let go. So
You understood that that was the situation. You could resign or you could be let go.
correct. Yes.
You were not welcome to stay.
No.
And the conversation where you were informed that you could resign or you could be fired, that conversation was not the first conversation you had with the District Attorney about your poor performance in the office, correct?
Well, it was kind of a spiral, but no.
Yeah, it was. Whatever the situation was.
Questions are fine.
Understood, Mr. Sato. Ms. Cross.
Ms. Yurdi, the circumstances of your leaving the district.
This attorney just asking the questions, not acting like she on trial. It's only one question that they wanted to know is that she know about the past relationship, but now they want to make her out to be a liar, or they trying to catch her up in something.
Attorney's
Instead of dealing
office
with it.
Ended your friendship with the
We
district
already know
attorney,
what happened.
correct?
Yes.
Y'all haven't spoken since.
No.
All right, I want to talk about the representations that you made here this morning, Ms. Yurdi, about any relationship between District Attorney Willis and Mr. Wade. I wanted you to tell me what was the first time, and let me ask it this way. You said that District Attorney Willis personally informed you of a romantic relationship. Is that what you testified to?
Yes.
When did that conversation that you purport to have, to recall, when did that happen?
I mean, I don't have a month or a day.
Where were you?
Just talking in general.
this witness under subpoena, but that's all the questions I have right now.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cross.
I have to redirect, sorry.
All right, on those points only.
Yes, just those things. The state asked you a lot about when you were let go, when you resigned. Did something happen as far as purchasing that you didn't feel comfortable with, purchasing things through the county for Miss Willis that caused you to not be comfortable working there anymore?
No.
And I didn't tell you how to testify here today, though, right?
Right.
And everything you've testified to is from your personal knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. And you've told the truth here today?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I believe she's only under my subpoena, and I'm fine releasing her from that subpoena. Oh, I'm sorry.
By show of hands from other counsel, starting with Mr. Sato.
Your Honor, I believe the board's been open now to ask this particular witness about statements.
That's it on her. That's her friend. I was looking over here. We got Nathan Wade over here. He's testifying too. I ain't even know. Let's see what he's talking about.
Responding to things.
The head Negro in charge.
Basically, answers that the other side is asking.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've got your complaint for divorce. I'm just going to mark it for the record as Defendant's Exhibit 2. The first interrogatories that you answered, those were December 27th, 2021. Is that right?
They're about this.
Okay. And in those, you were asked different things, but those are sworn. You actually swear to those. You verify them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so that verification is where you're swearing under oath that everything in.
Oh, she just asked this ninja, did he swear under oath to tell the truth? So that means that he said he did. She finna prove him out to be a liar. They at them. Look.
And it's true?
Yes, ma'am.
And let's see, you were asked if you have any documents which relate to the purchase of gifts by you to any person other than the defendant with whom you have or had a relationship, romantic relationship, from the date of your marriage, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you responded under oath that you didn't have any documents to that.
That's correct.
You again responded to an interrogatory. You updated those responses on May 30th, 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you actually sent those directly to opposing counsel in the divorce?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
But in that one, you answered none again to that question, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So May 30th, 2023, you said that you didn't have any documents showing any purchase of anything with someone that you had a romantic relationship with.
I believe the interrogatory was gifts.
Okay.
Not anything. Yes.
And I have it if you want to take a look. I'm going to mark, okay, so just for the record, I've got your complaint for divorce marked as number 2. I've got the verification and the interrogatories from 2021. I'm going to mark those as 3. And then your May 30th, 2023, I'm going to mark as 4. Judge, may I approach the witness?
You're right.
Thank you. That is what I marked as 4. This is what I marked as 3.
In case you're not up to date on this, they asking this guy here, when did he start cheating? He said he started cheating at one time. They done finally started cheating at another time. He done said he started cheating at 2 different times. That's what's going on. So we're going to listen.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. All right. If you would take a look at what I marked as 2, 3, and 4. Just see if you recognize this.
I do.
And are those, that's your divorce complaint, and then your 2021 interrogatory and your 2023 interrogatory, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are they a fair and accurate representation of what is filed in that case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd move to admit those to evidence.
And this is 2, 3, and 4?
It's 2, 3, and 4, yes.
All right, any objection from the state?
The divorce.
No objection to 3 and 4, and subject to Ms. Merchant's representation that 2 is a filing of divorce. I just don't, the divorce complaint, I don't have that in front of me, but subject to that representation, no objection.
All right, and by show of hands, any objection from other defense counsel? Seeing none, defendants 2, 3, and 4. This should be Romans. Well, we'll just call them 2, 3, and 4 admitted without objection.
So that interrogatory that you filed in 2023, that's one where you said no, that you didn't have any documents relating to the purchase of gifts that you had a romantic relationship with someone, right?
Which interrogatory are you talking
Number 4, 2023.
Which number in the interrogatory?
Number 4.
So, which number interrogatory are you referring to?
It's defendant's exhibit number 4.
I have defendant's exhibit 4 here.
Uh-huh.
Which number interrogatory are we referring to?
Oh, which number out of the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. It is number 20, 24, 25, 26. All of that.
Have another 24 questions.
Oh. It's supposed to be number. I guess they're all numbered 1. So number 1 again, and then the third number 1.
Let's do 5 or something.
I don't know how to tell you what number 1, because when you responded, you put number 1 on all of them.
You point to it.
This one. This one, I'm talking about this number 1, where it says tab. There's 2 number 1s that are tabbed.
Okay.
And there's no page number, but it is the second page.
All right.
They're asking if you have any receipts for restaurants, hotels, bars, things like that.
The first number 1?
I believe it's the second number 1.
The second number 1? Okay.
So it asks you if you have any receipts for things like restaurants, bars, hotels, things like that, where you accompanied a member of the other sex romantic partner. Correct?
It says identify any and all occasions.
Okay. And so it says to identify any and all occasions where you entertained a member of the other sex, okay, who's not related to blood, and including dining, drinking, restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels, all of that. Okay. And what was your answer to that?
None.
None. Okay. So May 30th, 2023.
Okay, if y'all don't see what just happened, she showed him a document where he said he had no dates or gave gifts or receipts or anything dealing with another woman. He said none. He said he had no interactions like that. He said none in his first sworn document. This is how she's trying to prove he a liar.
You prepared this document.
I did.
Submitted it.
I did.
And it says none as far as entertaining a member of the opposite sex.
It does.
Okay. No hotels, no bars, no restaurants.
Correct.
Okay. You again updated that. Let's see. You updated it on December 22nd, 2023. And I'm going to mark that as defendant's number 5, and I have copies. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you updated it once again on January 26th, 2024, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that one. May I approach the witness again, Judge?
Is that what you're marking as Defense Exhibit 6?
Yes, Judge. I'm marking number 6 is the January 26th, 2024 interrogatory, and then that one. And then number 5 is the December 22nd, 2023 interrogatory response.
All right. Are you tendering those at this time?
Yes, I am.
All right. Any objection from counsel to Defense Exhibit 5 and 6?
Yes, no objection.
Thank you, Ms. Cross. Seeing none others.
The way she had at him in court, if I was in court with her, I wouldn't be saying yes, ma'am. I'd be saying correct. Correct. He's saying yes, ma'am. Right, while she just catching him and laughing, I'd be like, correct. You know you're exposing me.
Before you go. So now that you have those, let's just talk about those for a minute. Those were verified, so sworn under oath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of them was December 22nd, and then of this last year, so last December, and then one was just recently submitted in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In May 10th, 2023, Judge Thompson heard a motion to compel in your divorce case as well, correct?
Yes.
And you were actually held in willful contempt.
Yeah, I'm going to object to the relevance of
His credibility is relevant, Judge, and if he was held in willful contempt for failing to provide answers and documents, I think that's relevant to this court.
How is that a prior false act or crime of conviction or anything else allowed for impeachment under the rules of evidence?
I'm not offering it as a prior bad act or something like that. I'm offering it towards his credibility, Judge, which you get to determine. If he's made misrepresentations in these pleadings, you're here to determine whether or not he's telling the truth or not. So if another court has held him in contempt and that's part of the divorce proceeding, I think it's relevant.
But just
You see how she just threw the liberal judge under the bus? She's like, listen, you know he lying, and I'm trying to challenge his credibility. I know you on their team and you trying to help him, but the nigga, he just made 2 separate filings contradicting himself, telling 2 different stories. The judge, the judge don't want to rule against him, but Fanni now.
Contempt generally can be for many different things, like a failure to produce is not necessarily a false act, right?
Right, and he's welcome to explain that.
He may not have to. Ms. Cross.
I object to the relevance of that. That's clearly not a proper impeachment. We're going pretty far afield into divorce matters that don't have any direct relevance to anything that's pending before the court. Subject to the relevance of that and being further. All
right. I'm not seeing that being a proper grounds for impeachment. It's sustained.
Okay. Let's talk about this December 22nd, 2023 verification. I tabbed it for you. Again, they asked you if you had any documentations showing proof of this relationship, proof of any relationship, correct?
I'm going to object to the phrasing of that question. I don't believe that's an accurate read of the interrogatory.
Let's be precise, Ms. Merchant.
Please read it. I want to make sure I'm accurate. Please read it.
Which number?
This one actually has a number. I tabbed it for you, so you should be able to open right to the page. It's number 22. The question specifically is if you have any tangible evidence of any nature in your possession or control or any other person or entity which relates to any manner of your activities to any person with whom you've had a sexual relationship during your marriage. Tangible evidence is notes, cards, letters, photos, films, recordings, documents, tapes, video recordings, receipts, invoices, and other tangible evidence.
Yes.
Okay. And you answered that you did not have any documents to that effect, correct?
Correct.
And that was on December 22nd, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
You updated those responses again after the motion to disqualify was filed, though, correct?
When was the motion filed?
January 8th, 2024, when I filed the motion to disqualify you and alleged that you had a romantic relationship with Miss Willis.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, you updated these responses, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so your new responses, you now changed your answer from that you didn't have any of this to you're asserting the privilege under 24-5-505, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And both of these are under oath?
Yes, ma'am.
You also updated your response to the question about spending time with someone other than your spouse for dinner, drinks, things at restaurants, bars, hotels, or the other person's home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So in December of 2023, you said no to all that, and then in January, after I filed my motion, you said privilege to all that, Fifth Amendment privilege.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And just to be clear, was it?
Sorry, I did an objective characterization of Fifth Amendment privilege. I think it was a statutory privilege, and that's quite different.
That's what I was just about to ask him. So that privilege covers infamy or Fifth Amendment privilege, correct?
So it's a privacy privilege is what I updated my response to do. Once you filed your motion to intervene in my divorce action, I then figured that you were in talks with my former wife's divorce lawyer.
Okay.
And because of that, I asserted a privacy privilege because I didn't want the proceedings of my divorce to bleed over into the proceedings in this case, which is the case that obviously you're involved in.
So your answers in December of 2023 that you didn't have any documents about any travel that you took with Ms. Willis, that wasn't true though, correct?
They didn't ask me about any documents regarding Ms. Willis.
A romantic partner. They asked you for documents regarding a romantic partner. So I'm sorry, I inserted Ms. Willis's name. Let me rephrase the question. They asked you for documents about travel with a romantic partner in December 2023. And you under oath said you did not have any of those, correct?
I did not.
Okay.
And they asked me about gifts.
Right.
I never purchased a gift for Ms. Willis.
And they asked you about receipts for dinner, receipts for drinks, hotels, bars, and restaurants. And you said you did not have any of those.
I did not and do not have any receipts for any of those things.
Okay. And part of the civil discovery, they say that even if you don't have it in your pocket, if it's within your purview, you got to get it and give it to them, correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again to the relevance of the questions about the scope of civil discovery. I think she's asking about statements.
He trying to play a mind game with him about the receipts. You got a receipt on your bank card. On your card. Your card has a receipt. You have a digital receipt. You trying to play the paper game. Man, this is how they get caught up.
We made the pleadings. The answers are already in the record. And
all right, to the extent you're trying to establish a prior mistruth, Ms. Merchant, I'll allow you to ask a few more follow-ups, but if it's not there, we have to move on.
Thank you. So in 2023, December, you said you didn't have any receipts.
I do not have any receipts. I did not have any receipts.
But you did travel with Ms. Willis in 2023, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2022, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2021, correct?
No.
So you only traveled with her in 2022 and 2023?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
That's what you recall?
Yes.
Okay. So you just don't remember if you traveled with her in 2021?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
Is what you recall. My question is, did you travel with her in 2021?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So it's not yes or no, you just don't remember?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So you did not travel with her in 2021?
Your Honor.
No, this has been covered. Let's keep going.
Thank you. Let's see. You filed an affidavit in this case, correct?
I did.
Okay, and I marked that already. I gave it to the state as number 1. And this is it number 1, may I approach, Judge?
Right.
Thank you. In that affidavit, you swore under oath, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in that affidavit, you swore that, well, first of all, do you recognize the affidavit?
I do.
Okay. Did you sign the affidavit under oath?
I did.
And you gave this affidavit specifically to refute the allegations that I had raised?
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody forced you to sign this?
No, ma'am.
You chose to sign it?
I did.
And you signed it on purpose to admit into court to refute allegations?
I did.
You signed it specifically to prove that you were not in a relationship with Willis prior to November 2021, correct?
Correct.
And you were a lawyer when you signed it?
I was.
And you're still a lawyer today, correct?
I am.
When were you barred?
1999.
Okay. And you believe that your relationship with Ms. Willis is subject to attorney-client privilege, correct?
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. I don't think that's factually correct. I don't think that's a relevant question, and I don't think it's appropriate to question this witness about the scope of his attorney-client privilege. He's got an attorney who can speak for him for that, but questioning the witness, I think is inappropriate.
All right, so a lot to unpack there. The question is simply that does he believe there's a relationship that...
I'm sorry for not entertaining y'all, but she grilling him. He folding under pressure to be a district attorney. He just deny.
exists in the terms of attorney-client privilege between him and Ms. Willis. Is that accurate,
Yes,
Ms.
Judge,
Merchant?
it was. I asked if he believed his relationship with Ms. Willis is subject to attorney-client privilege.
Okay, I don't see why yes or no would be barred.
Maybe I'm not understanding the question. If the question is, does Mr. Wade and District Attorney Willis have an attorney-client relationship?
It is not.
There's no foundation for that. If the question to the witness is, does his relationship with District Attorney Willis impact his attorney-client relationship with his divorce attorneys? That I don't think is an appropriate question for that witness. First, first I believe is a proper phrasing. The second, I think there's been a representation that Mr. Wade preserves and doesn't waive anything, and so I think asking him particular questions in order to potentially backdoor a waiver is inappropriate, and that's my opinion.
All right, if we're just trying to again assess where a privilege does or does not exist, and we're not actually getting into it, I think we can establish those, parameters. But Ms. Merchant, can you rephrase the question based on that concern, and we'll see where we are?
Yes. Do you believe, that your relationship with Ms. Willis is subject to an attorney-client privilege? Not if you and Ms. Willis have one, but do you believe that relationship is subject to one?
I'm going to object to that question as it's phrased. In what context? Any conversation with his attorneys is privileged. That I think.
I'm at 40 minutes into this aspect of it. You see where it's going. So I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to update it, and I'm going to go through it and see what it is. But right now, you see that she's like, the basis of her whole question is that you're a liar. You know what I mean? You saying one thing, now you saying something else. So clearly, he's lied. Fanny's friends is telling her, I showed you that earlier. So I guess this is going to be the entertainment aspect of the Democrats' debauchery and political abuse. Sound to you at Detroit. Keep your hand on the swivel. Peace.